Well, we stayed in it. We stayed in the fight mentally, because there's a lot of moments where our guys, we're struggling and frustrated, and we're getting our butts kicked, quite frankly. Credit to Kings. They played a great basketball game tonight. The team's got a lot of firepower, and, you got to match it, and we didn't have our best offensive first three quarters. Could have played better there and could have guarded with more, more fight and more disposition early in the game. But, we've seen firsthand that the modern NBA team's never out of a game. We've lost a few, and that was the sort of the messaging throughout the game is, we're going to keep changing the game, but we just got to stay in the fight. And I thought KD, Brad, and Book were all vocal in timeouts, just saying, "Come on, stay with it. The next play type of mindset," and kept us engaged. And then, like I said, the coach always has an opportunity to change the game with what's happening in terms of why they got a lead. So, we looked at the small lineup. We're going to go 5 3-point shooters, but J.O. was making some real quality energy plays, so we kept him in there a little longer. But finally got Eric in there, and he hit some big threes, and all those guys really stepped up. So I'm proud of how our guys stayed together and stayed in the fight.
Curious, you just mentioned obviously going small and having 5 shooters out there. You feel like that was the biggest reason for the comeback?
Yes.
And then on top of that, defensively, though, what do you feel like changed from the first 3 quarters because they were pretty much getting whatever they wanted?
Yeah, well, that's part of it's not just 5 3-point shooters, but 5 smalls, and you go through 1 through 5 red. Although KD did a great job in a lot of possessions of guarding Sabonis in coverage and not switching, not passing him off to other guys, and he's had 4 exceptional defensive performances for us in the last 4 games, starting with Kawhi, then guarding LeBron, and then throughout the game in Portland, and then down the stretch asking to guard Simons, and then tonight guarding Sabonis. You know what I mean? So, when he puts his mind to it, he can really be a force on that side of the ball, and he was a big part defensively. He was a big part of this win tonight.
You mentioned the big three being vocal, just being down as many as 22. How difficult can that be when it feels like, some recent games might be repeating themselves to fight through that sort of thing?
You got to stay on the messaging, for sure. You got to echo it, and you got to get after your guys a little bit, and we did that. Made sure that they weren't hanging their heads. That we got to be forward-looking, and how can we win the next few possessions, and the way we can shoot the basketball, the firepower that we have, we should believe that we're never out of a game, and our guys stayed in it.
Not sure how much that 5-man unit has played at all this year. Is that something you had known you wanted to eventually try out, and this just felt like the right time, and is it something you think you could do more of since it worked?
Yeah, well, it's definitely something that we've talked about. There's a lot of talk about how many games the Big Three have played together, but I don't know. That number is even less with all 5 of these guys, because a lot of times the Big Three was in there, either Grayson or Eric was out. So we talked a lot about it in the preseason. I remember back in I think it was the Palm Springs game, we were ready to go. Let's look at what 5 3-point shooters looks like with KD at center, and I think Brad got hurt, and Book ended up not playing that game, and we didn't see those 5 guys healthy for a long time. So, it's not something that, I think is going to be a steady diet for us, but it's always a move that we can make and a lineup we can go to when we need it.
For the third quarter, you guys only were able to cut it down to 10, but there were a few different flurries from you guys to keep the game from getting out of hand. How big was that to keep it in a position in the fourth where you could ultimately come back?
Yeah, you got to hang in there. You know what I mean? And it's easy. You see a lot of 40-point blowouts in this league. The game gets to 18, 20, 22. You lose focus. That could easily get up to 30 plus. And our guys, again, the message of next play. Like, forget what just happened. Okay, we'll keep making moves with whatever adjustments we got to make. And but mentally, you got to stay in the game and give yourselves a chance.
We're asking you nearly every game at this point about the fourth quarter. Do you think this can be a turnaround, or at least like a sign for the team that they're improving there?
Yeah, definitely a positive sign. We won the fourth quarter, and we we scored 35 points. But every game's different. So I don't think next game is going to be about being down and throwing a different lineup out there. We got to execute with the guys that we have scripted out.
Sorry. Maybe we check back in a month or two, but are you of the belief that a win like this can change the course of the season?
I think it just keeps our momentum going. You know, I thought we did some good things on the Christmas Day game in a loss, you know, that I was encouraged about. And, you know, I felt like our team was going in the right direction with how we're sharing the basketball and how we're committing to the paint. And, you know, I don't know if it's since that point, but I know we've won 8 of our last 11, so we're 8-3 in the last 11 games, and doing some really positive things and building confidence each game that goes by. Tonight, you know, being maybe one of the biggest of those games, you know, to keep the confidence going. So encouraged with the direction we're heading.
How has Grayson exceeded your expectations this year?
Well, he's making 9 threes every other game, so I wasn't expecting that. In a lot of ways, honestly. You know, he's a even better shooter than we anticipated. He's better putting the ball on the floor and making plays, and he's probably better defensively, you know, guarding top matchups. You know, and those 3 things have been invaluable for us.
It was hard to believe for you that you were outlining this roster in like July, August, September, and then he wasn't on it because he's just like such an important guy for you now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the NBA. You know, your roster changes, and you know, you lose some things you like, you gain some things you didn't have, and you know, but when, you know, obviously when that trade was made and we heard that he was in it, we were all very excited about it. But even with that, he's exceeded those expectations.
Durant said after the last game that this was a step back for the defense. But since this is a comeback win and everything regarding the Kings, you guys lost to them twice before. Is this a step forward, or is it still a step back defensively, being that you got down as low as 22?
3 wins in a row, all 3 moving in the right direction. You know, if you can play imperfectly and have lessons learned while you're winning, that's a great sign.
What did you learn from the defensive effort from the first half and how to turn it around? Because you showed what you can do defensively at the end of the ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, we guarded them differently. We had different lineups out there and different coverages in the second half. We have to do better with our main rotation, you know, against that team. But they're very difficult to guard, and you know, I think number one thing with that is the transition urgency. You know, I mean, they played with great pace, and you know, we weren't getting back well enough.
Coach, when you guys, I think, entered the game on a 32-8 run, at what point in that run were you starting to think, okay, we got a shot here to win this game?
I knew when we cut it. I mean, I think we cut it to 10 or so in the third, and it ended up getting back to plus 20. When we went from 20 to 10 in the third, you know, I knew we still had a chance, and I knew we still had a lineup that we could throw out there that they would keep Sabonis on the floor and make him guard 5 elite shooters. You know, so knowing that we were able to cut it to 10 once already, I felt very confident that we could at least make it a game. Obviously, you know, it's still a long shot to come back from down 22, but I knew we would have a chance.
With the starting 5,
Last one? You're good.
with the starting 5 committing just a total of 13 turnovers collectively. However, they still protected the ball a whole lot better in that fourth quarter. What was the offensive adjustment, including with Kevin Durant, who also committed 7 turnovers today?
Yeah, I mean, keeping things simple, recognizing where they were bringing the double teams and how we wanted to space out of it. You know, I thought our guys are all willing passers, you know, when a double team comes. And, you know, I would say that's in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, you know, just playing with the 5 3-point shooters and that type of space, you know, it's just a different attack. Okay.
Kevin, how the hell did y'all win this game?
I have no clue. I usually know how the game is flowing, but I felt like this was a blur. I felt like I looked up, we was down 6, and I look up again, it's a tie game, you know? So everything happened so fast. I guess we all were in the zone and just locked in. And I think once we went small and was able to switch all the actions, they're a team that likes to, you know, play a free-flowing movement offense. So when you could disrupt that, you know, they turn into a whole different team. So we pressured Sabonis a little bit more. We switched some of these screens and made them play one-on-one and made them, you know, turn into they're not a selfish team, but when you're switching everything, it just makes you play ISO game, you know. So I think we did a good job of forcing them into that. But it's still incredible, man. I'd really give a lot of credit to the end of the third unit, who just kind of changed momentum for us and got us within like 14 or 12 or something like that, I think, with Book and Mezzi, and I forget who else was in that lineup, but I think that one is what kind of helped turn the game for us. Even though we still got down 17 or fourth, I feel like we seen something with that group that'll help us, for the rest of the game. And I think that momentum kind of led us into the fourth.
I'm curious when you look at just, when you guys did go small, you guarding Sabonis and coaches talked about your defense the last 3 to 4 games. How much were you taking on that, not letting him be a factor?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to take on the challenge. He's an all-star level player, and I know it's going to have to take multiple efforts just to stop him, and he's a physical dude. And so I just try to play physical with him, make his catches tough, push out his catches, not let him. He likes to just stand at the three-point line and survey and get triple-doubles. So I tried to make him turn his back a little bit and pressure him and put my hands in the passing lane and just disrupt him just a tiny bit. So it's still crazy that we end up finishing that game the way we did. And we've been the worst fourth-quarter team. And I feel like the history of the game, and tonight we come back with this. It's crazy how life works.
You guys finished, I think, on a 32 to 8 run. When you're going through that run, are you even okay?
No, it just happened so fast, and it was stop after stop and run out after run out. I think we was able to get deflections, blocks, and and not take the ball out the rim, and we got easy points in the other end. They did a good job of pressuring us on the defensive side of the ball throughout the whole game. And because we were playing against a set defense all night, so we was able to get some stops, get out and run, and just put more pressure on them. As the lead was dwindling, their defense was a little looser. They turned the ball over a little bit more. So when they up 15 or 20, everybody can play free and play perfect in that scenario. So we just wanted to put some pressure on them and see what would happen. And Coach kept telling us that this is the modern NBA. You can get back into the game with threes and the stops, and that's what happened.
Kevin, to your point on it being a blur, the Kings called a timeout at 4:39 left, and then there was no break in the action until the very end when they drew up the bunk play. That's what you want as a player in that situation, right? You just want to keep going.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially when you got momentum like that, when you can play a 3 or 4 minute stretch without them making too many subs or adjustments, and we kind of blitzed them there in the fourth for those minutes, and we was able to get the lead, and they were super aggressive, ended up fouling us late, because they might have been a little frustrated. So if we pressure teams and we put in and we don't get down early, we'll see what a team really about. It's easy to be up 20 and 15, 10 the whole game, and everybody playing well and excited and clapping on their bench. So I think we got to start the games off even better than what we did, and I think our fourths would be better.
We've heard a lot of the guys talk about your defense and the variety of different players you've been able to match up with. Was there something that made you want to kind of offer yourself up in that way?
I mean, I offered myself up this summer when we were having conversations about how we wanted to play. And I told Coach, I told James, Josh, my job is to be a lockdown defender. Obviously I'm not going to be perfect every night, but to go out there and trust that I can go out there and make life tough for the opposing players, I think that's a part of my job description. I mean, that's a fine. I'm long, athletic, I can move, I'm experienced. Why shouldn't I be held accountable to play top-line defense against anybody in the league? Like I said, I'm not saying I'm stopping everybody, but I think I can make life tough for any player in the league. And there's some great players out here, but I feel like I can just play hard and use my length and my attributes to make life tough. And I want those assignments. So Coach has been trusting me, coaching staff been trusting me even more. I know I'm getting older, and I think that's probably why we didn't see this a little earlier in the season, but just about showing and proving. I proved to the coaching staff that I can do it, then they'll trust me more and more, and I get more opportunities like that.
What fuels that drive to be a good defender?
What fuels?
Why?
I mean, my calling, my purpose of being a human being is to be the greatest basketball player I could be. I mean, that's the reason why I'm alive at this point. So I got to lock in on every aspect of the game and become great at it, and I'm still working.
I don't mean to get too hyper-specific, but in your experience over the years in the league, how do you take what worked in a win like this with the momentum, everything in the last 5 minutes, and channel it the rest of the way to make positive changes going forward?
It's just we watch film. I'm always about putting good stuff on film, We put some good and bad stuff on film tonight that we can learn from. So we try to bottle this up and try to emulate that as much as possible as we move forward. And it's about making it a consistent thing for us. And I think that transfer from watching film to practice to the games, you can see it starting to pay off just a tiny bit for us. We got a long ways to go, and I feel like we we're in a solid position.
Kev, you've been in situations where struggled early and then found it, when it mattered. How much of that is just trusting the work that you put in that it'll come through?
Yeah, that's all it is. Like I said, I've been in so many different games. Started off, so many different ways and was able to, missing every shot and then come back around and make every shot, So I've been a part of games like that, so I understand what it's like to be in a funk and then figure it out, So, and my teammates too, they do such a great job of just always looking for me and seeing when I'm not, they see when I'm struggling to shoot the ball or when I don't touch the ball for a little bit and they look for me. And without my teammates, it'd be hard for me to get out of stuff like that.
You spoke about Grayson and Eric before, just keep shooting. What was it like to see Grayson hit the 9 threes and then Eric come in and deliver like he did?
Yeah, I mean, we need them to continue to keep, tossing them up there and shooting them with confidence. Did Grayson get a record again?
He tied it.
Oh, he tied it. He's come here to Phoenix and showed everybody in the basketball world the different parts of his game. We all looked at him as just a 3-and-D guy, but he can pretty much do it all on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe not post up. Maybe he need to come to my academy this summer to post up, but he can pretty much do a lot of things on the court, and I'm glad he's expanding his game and shooting the ball with confidence. And we need everybody to do that. 37 threes to that 40. I mean, we've been shooting 26, 27 threes before, so we're starting to get up there with the other team and matching them at the three-point line, and, that's been helping us stay in games.
You spoke on it this morning with Grayson, but not putting him in a box. Do you think there's a lesson there that some team or just a lot of organizations across the league miss on just in terms of limiting players and what they do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is situations. A lot of times you got to sacrifice your full game to help maximize somebody else's game, and that's what Grayson was doing in Milwaukee. He had to be a, space-out shooter guy. I mean, they got guys that can handle Giannis and Drew and Chris Middleton, and I think here we try to have a multiple ball handler attack, and, we want everybody to be at their best, But all his experiences throughout the league has helped him up to this point, and all of that stuff mattered when it comes to him being a good player now. So just keep building from there.
Can you speak to how scrappy he was in that final run in the fourth quarter, getting those 50-50 balls to help you guys get out and run and get your positions to stick those threes and actually pull out the win?
Yeah, I think once we kept the ball in bodies in front of us, we were able to make those plays. When we chasing off of screens and you see the back of your guy's jersey all the time, it's hard to make those 50-50 plays or get a deflection, So we kept the ball in front. We made them go through our chest if they wanted to do anything, and and that's what type of you see what type of players somebody is when you physical and you into them and you pressure them. And I think we did a solid job of pressuring there in that fourth. Early on, they were playing loose. Everybody was getting shots. Vesnikov was knocking down shots. And he's an incredible shooter, but he felt like he made every shot. Malik Monk. Keegan Murray. I mean, but once we start putting a little bit more pressure on them and not letting them run around freely, then I think that would play in our favor.
What was the sense of just the communication on the bench in the locker room during the frustrating moments tonight? How you were able to stay together and not pull up tents down 22?
I think the coaching staff made good adjustments. We were definitely dead in the water. We didn't know they were scoring at will. It was kind of hard to figure out, how we were going to get stops and how we were going to not play against a set defense. I think Coach made some good adjustments there with the lineups, with also the scheme that we were playing, and we was able to excel in that and get a win.
I know a lot of people say a win is a win, but do you feel comfortable, about this win, just seeing how the outlook of the game was in general?
Hell yeah. I mean, it's always about the process with me. The end result is definitely cool, but I care more about how we go about things. And like last game, I didn't like how we went about things, but we still won the game. Tonight, it was one of those games where you definitely hate how you playing early on, but you still don't give up and was able to, have some bounces fall our way to win the game. So it's a lesson in every game, and but winning in this league is always fun. I mean, I rather learn from a win than learn from us losing. So we can take some good things from this game and get better from it.
Grayson,
won a fourth quarter, finally. It took us being down 20, whatever it was, but we won a fourth quarter. That was our focus was what we've been talking about was closing out games, winning fourth quarters. Usually it's us being up 10-15 and letting a team come back, so we got on the other side of it tonight, won a fourth quarter. Hopefully we won't let ourselves get that far down tonight, but it's a good closeout.
Curious, just with the threes again, you tied career high, tied franchise high. Maybe just take me through what was flowing for you early because you got it going early again.
Yeah, a lot of good offense, a lot of good ball movement. A lot of them were off of somebody else collapsing the defense, kicking out. Nurk made a lot of good passes, being that roller. When they want to trap the ball and we can get it to Nurk really quick on that half roll and let him be a decision maker to finish at the rim, hit a cutter, hit someone in the corner for three. He did a great job of that tonight. So a lot of it was, a lot of them were assisted.
The only thing I had was I'm curious, how did you get over the fact that you guys played so bad second quarters and then found a way? How do you do that?
We know that you can come back from being down 20. It's happened to us a couple times. We've given up leads, so it's not impossible. We have the ability offensively to put up a lot of points in a hurry, and that ability, when you're down 20, like you're always in the game. So for us, the fourth quarter was about getting some good stops. We got a lot of good deflections. Kev had a big block at the rim, some good rebounds, and allowed us to get out and run and spread the floor out with 5 shooters and hit threes and make that comeback.
What's your mentality when coach puts a small unit like that? What has to kind of change as far as your approach, probably mostly defensively out there?
Defensively, we have to be a little bit more active if they have a big who's a post-up threat. A lot of times Kev does a really good job of guarding fives in the post. He's able to push their catch out and use his length to disrupt them. Sabonis, we were switching everything, so we had to be ready to collapse down on guards or front him in the post to not let him get a catch. And we were switching Kev out, and Kev's guarding De'Aaron Fox out at the top of the key, Malik Monk, and he did a great job of keeping them in front, forcing them into tough shots. So I think his versatility defensively makes that small lineup extremely tough to attack.
You guys were kind of at a 3-point disadvantage for most of the night, but closing with that small lineup, 5 shooters, like you said, how did you like the flow that you guys had offensively and being able to generate some of those?
I like how fast we played with that group. I like that we got up a lot more threes. EG hit a lot of big ones in the fourth. But just the speed of play with that group, and it was great at getting open looks and spreading the court around.
To your point about winning a fourth quarter finally, I know this is one of 82, but how big can a game like this be for building your guys' confidence in that area?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. Especially there's going to be times during the season where you get down 10-15, like you can't help it, a team goes on a run, but we know what we can do. We can put up points in a hurry, and we proved it tonight, being able to come back like that, and so never mentally out of a game.
That shootout you had with the Bezenkov, sorry, I'm not saying his name right, but it's the second quarter. You seem like you guys had a brief shootout. Was it something where they were basically giving you the ball for the hot hand, or was there something opening up for you to, even though you guys were down at some, for much of 17 by the end of the quarter?
Yeah, no, I mean, we weren't running anything specifically for me. It was just in the flow of our offense, spaced out. Guys were making the extra pass, drawing extra defenders, and I was on the receiving end of it.
Can you give us a sense of just what the conversation was like about staying with it and not, I guess, folding up the tent when you're down 22 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, a lot of it was us bringing some energy on the bench, still talking through the game, talking through it defensively. Offensively, we went through some lulls, but we knew that we were kind of figuring out where we could attack them. And then it was a lot about energy. The energy of the building was bad at points tonight. Like the crowd was booing, which I wish they would. We would work together with the crowd. Like, I understand we weren't playing well. They paid for their tickets. They can come out and cheer however they want to. But, man, when we're down, like, we want to be a great home court team, and we have such a great crowd when it was so loud tonight. Like, I wish they would cheer us on and help give us some energy in those times too. But in the fourth quarter when we went on that run, the crowd was incredible. It was the loudest I'd heard it all season. And that kind of energy, like that just, when you have that kind of energy from the crowd, you're getting stops, you're running up and down the court, hitting threes, like it's just flowing. You have so much momentum. Everything is clicking. It's like a great spot to be in as a team. Like you feel like you're doing everything perfect. You feel like everything's going to go right. And part of that momentum, that feeling from the crowd, that feeling of being on that run is why we made all those shots, because we were getting good looks, but we made all of them because of the energy of the building, the energy of the game. So that's one of the things, like this, one of the things I just wish is that us and the crowd would work together a little bit more.
You guys have one more thing about the 50-50 balls. Can you talk about how important that was in that fourth quarter run, besides just you guys sticking threes to get back into the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, we limited them to one shot. We limited them to one tough shot. Like Kev getting some deflections on the board. There was one play in particular where they were pushing the pace the whole game and getting those quick threes up. They had tried to have a skip to the corner, and I looked over. I thought it was open, and Book sprinting back and deflecting the ball out of bounds and flying into the crowd. Like our energy defensively to limit those good looks, force them to play in the half court, force them to take tougher shots, and then limit it to one shot even with the smaller lineup was huge.